Ukrainian forces attacking Russia's defenses in the south of the country have likely made a significant tactical breach near the recently reclaimed town of Robotyne, according to a new assessment. Kyiv's fighters continue to widen the section of Russia's defenses around the town, the Washington D.C. based Institute for the Study of War (ISW) think tank said on Saturday. Ukraine had focused on a 2.6 kilometer, or 1.6 mile, stretch of Russia's multilayered defensive lines around Robotyne, the institute said in its latest analysis. Ukraine's military said earlier this month that its forces had broken through the first and second lines of defenses around Robotyne, to the south of the Ukrainian-held Zaporizhzhia city of Orikhiv. Kyiv said in late August that it had seized control of Robotyne back from the Kremlin, and a Russian-backed official in Zaporizhzhia told state television that Moscow's armed forces had tactically abandoned the town more than a week later. However, Ukraine has not fully broken through Russia's defensive layer with vehicles and other heavy equipment, the US-based think tank said. Ukrainian officials have suggested that Russia's first line of defenses, which Kyiv has broken through, was the most strongly fortified of the multiple lines put in place, the ISW noted. There is a very big difference between the first and second line of defense, Ukraine's commander of the Tavria group of forces, Brigadier General Alexander Tarnavsky, told British newspaper The Observer at the beginning of September. Kremlin forces have placed the majority of their combat power at those forward-most Russian defensive positions to defend against Ukrainian counteroffensive operations, the ISW said on Saturday, adding, these Russian forces have likely suffered heavy losses and conducted fighting withdrawals to prepared positions behind the current defensive layer. Newsweek has reached out to the Russian Defense Ministry for comment via email. In an operational update on Sunday morning, Ukraine's general staff said its soldiers were continuing to attack Russian positions towards Melitopol, causing occupation troops significant losses in manpower and equipment, forcing the enemy to withdraw from occupied positions. Ukraine's fighters had partial success around the village of Verbov, to the east of Robotyne, Ukraine's Deputy Defense Minister, Hanna Maliar, said on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Russia's defense ministry said it had repelled 18 Ukrainian attacks around Robotyne and Verbov in the past week. Although Ukraine's counteroffensive has largely focused on Russia's front lines in Zaporizhzhia, Kyiv's forces have also plugged away at Moscow's defenses in Donetsk. On Thursday, Ukraine said it had captured the Donetsk town of Andriivka, around 6 miles to the southwest of the decimated city of Bakhmut. Ukraine has kept up its efforts to retake Bakhmut, Russia's defense ministry added on Saturday. Moscow has controlled the city since May 2023, after months of some of the fiercest fighting of the war. Ukraine is unsuccessfully trying to oust Russian troops from Andriivka and the nearby town of Klishivka, the Kremlin said in a statement. Kyiv's fighters made gains around Bakhmut on Saturday, the ISW said, adding Ukraine has advanced in northern Klishivka. Klishivka has been a focal point of fighting in the Bakhmut area in recent weeks, the think tank said. Ukrainian soldiers embrace flag in recaptured town near Bakhmut. Ukrainian soldiers were seen embracing their country's flag in a video on Sunday after recapturing a town located near Bakhmut. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed that his military retook control of Klishivka, a town located southwest of Bakhmut, in a post to social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter. Bakhmut and its surrounding area has been the site of some of the most intense fighting this year in the Russia-Ukraine war, launched by Russian President Vladimir Putin on February 24, 2022. Recapturing Klishivka marks a critical victory for Ukraine's latest counteroffensive effort as Western allies, whose support have bolstered Ukraine's defense efforts against Moscow, have reportedly expressed concern about its slower progress. Klishivka. I thank our warriors for liberating our land. The 80th Air Assault, 5th Assault, and the renowned 95th Air Assault Brigades, as well as the National Police's Fury Assault Brigade, Zelensky wrote on Sunday afternoon. I thank everyone who is standing strong from Kupiansk to the left bank of Kherson. Anton Gerashenko, an advisor to the Minister of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, posted a video to X showing soldiers from the 80th Separate Assault Brigade embracing the Ukrainian flag, a flag representing their unit, and other unverified flags donning military symbolism. Ukrainian defenders have liberated Klishivka in Donetsk region. The information has been confirmed by President Zelensky. "Glory to Ukrainian heroes," he wrote Sunday. The victory comes after reports that Ukrainian troops have made advances in several areas around Donetsk, sparking concerns from pro-war Russians about the loss of Ukrainian towns. The Institute for the Study of War (ISW), a Washington, D.C. based think tank, reported on Saturday that Klishivka was one area Ukraine has made notable progress in. Ukrainian victory comes ahead of Zelensky's Washington, D.C. visit. Ukraine's victory in Klishivka comes at a critical point for its support from the United States, a key ally that has provided billions of dollars in military aid to the Eastern European nation. Zelensky is set to visit to Washington, D.C. this week as Congress debates sending more aid to his country. President Joe Biden, as well as congressional leadership from both Democrats and Republicans, are generally more supportive of providing military aid for Ukraine. However, Republican hardliners are focused on cutting spending ahead of appropriations bills to fund the government and have been critical when it comes to providing such support. Biden has requested $24 billion for military aid for Ukraine, a figure that may face difficulty passing the House of Representatives, where the Freedom Caucus, a coalition of the most conservative Republicans, have been most vocal against providing more assistance to Ukraine. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is tasked with trying to strike a deal that satisfies these hardliners along with more moderate Republicans who support aiding Ukraine. It remains to be seen if this victory will quell questions about the pace of the counteroffensive from Ukraine's Western allies. The New York Times reported last month that some U.S. officials have raised concerns about Ukraine's strategy in the counteroffensive, which began in June. Newsweek reached out to the armed forces of Ukraine for comment via email. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on September 17 that Russia had lost 272,320 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion on February 24 last year. This number includes 530 casualties Russian forces suffered just over the past day,